state, taking you inside Pennsylvania's factories, museums, and historical sites.
Welcome to Channellock Incorporated, manufacturer of world-famous hand tools. My name is Don Hornstein. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources. The company was founded in 1886 by George B. DeArmond in Conneaut Lake, Pennsylvania. At the turn of the century, Mr. DeArmond moved the company to Meadville, site of the current manufacturing location. After 110 years of existence, the company is now headed by the fifth generation of the DeArmond family, current president Bill DeArmond. The company manufactures over 120 different plier items, employs 500 people, and our products are distributed worldwide. For the past 110 years, the company has operated under the same basic philosophy. That being, number one, good management is never far from the factory floor. Number two, people count more than machines. Third, bigger is not always better. And lastly, dedication to excellence is the surest way to surmount adversity and to prosper. Please join us now on a tour of our facility.
Channellock Corporation, Quality Assurance Manager. We are to begin a tour of Channellock's operations in the die room, and we'll start here. As we start with, we receive these die blocks in a green stage. They will be brought in here and put on the Marsiki over here, a machine to form. Also, we'll put all the keyways in on the mills here, and we'll go over to the Boston-matic over here to show you how we make the graphites to burn the dies on the EDM. This is the Boston-matic. It does the form of the pliers for the electrodes that we do the burning of the die blocks by EDM. This is the area here we're showing the electrodes. This looks like the plier is sunk after we've been through the EDM, and then it comes over to the bench to get bench work on to do all the finished touches on it. They start out here with a work order assigned to this job, and then it will go through all the processes clear to plant 2 where we do our package and ready to ship out when it's full. We will now go, we've got the other dies over here, which that was our tongue and groove line. Now we have our box joint line or our lap joint line. These pliers either have cutters on them or they'll be just plain nose for gripping or cutting parts. We'll take you now out to the forge shop where we forge the pliers with these dies to get the form, and then we go into the heat treat area to be annealed, then back over to be coined again, restruck area, before they go to the machine shop to make the parts straight and 2 dimensions what we need for the operations in the machining area. Okay, now what we just came from out there in the forge shop, to explain the operation, we start out with a hot bar, then we go into the flattener, then we go to the bender to start your form for the platter. This is the blocker where we start out to form the part. This is the finisher. Then we go through the trimmer to get the parts that we're going to be using. The flash went up out of the conveyor and into the waistband. Okay, now this is our tongue and groove line that we make our multiple position plier here in the machine shop after they've been restruck or coined to make them straight and to dimensional before they come into the machine shop. Now the first thing we have to do here is to put the slot or a hole in the part to locate from on the rest of our milling and broaching operations. Right now we are punching the hole in the slot here. It will go up the conveyor. The two items before and after. Punch. Now it will come up this conveyor here into another tub where the operator is standing picking it out here and putting it on the broach and broaching the teeth in the part. This is a tooth broach. We'll go up to the next operation up here where we put the channels in. I'll have to hold you up a minute. Right here, now after we've had the slot put in, the teeth put in, now we're going over and we're putting the channels into the part on this machine here. All of our operations here at Channellock have got some sort of a chart that we use to make sure that the gauging system here meets all the ANSI inspections for our functionable plier. Hi, Donnie. Same as our tongue and groove line, we go to our box joints, lap joint line where we have our cutter pliers. We are now drilling a hole and countersinking so we can do the rest of our broaching or milling operation, whatever needs to be done on them. So everything will be consistent at that stage. We'll go over here to the cutter department, grinding, sharpening, and show you the cutting of the broach cutters, mill cutters, they all come down here after they've worn. They will be resharpened and put back in the racks to be put back on the machines again to the next operation or to go back up and continue the operations they're on. We are now here at the Celcom machine, which we mill our inside bevel on the windows here to get to the inside of our cutting edge area. Okay, after these pliers have all been machined and ready to be assembled to be a matched pair, we have a staked area for our to hold our rivet together, and we have the smooth area to make this plier function properly. Right here we are putting together here on the hot head in the rivet. After these have been hot headed, assembled, we'll go over here to the double disc. What we have to do now is we have to take the head of this rivet off the plier and also make it the size for thickness. This has got 2 disc wheels in there, stone wheels, going around, and he's taking these rivet heads off with the size. Watch yourself. Coming into the tool room area. This is where our fixturings and clamps for our mills, our broaches are made. Any repairs need to be done. We do it in this department here, and then they'll go out to the operations where needed. Okay, we're now in the QA office area where we do our calibration of gauges, profiles, any other investigation we may have to need on pliers, dimensionally, whatever. And we're done on this CMM machine, and all the calibration gets done over here, R&R. We have a comparator out in the other section of the office that we use 5-to-1 prints to check different gauges and different profiles or any other incoming material that we actually get in for rivets or whatever to meet the specifications that we require. Okay, we're in a rough polishing area right now. Most of our polishing over here is done with a 60-grit belt to take the trim lines off for our forging, so we have them presentable for the customer. This has been taken off to show there. Then it'll go to the next machine and it'll be taken off on the back side. Here again, this is our 460 Channellock our biggest plier we make. We're doing the same thing over here. We're taking the trim line off and the forging to make it presentable to the customer. We got both back and front. Okay, what we're doing here is we're sizing the nose up on a needle nose plier. what we do is we got to take this lug off that we had on there to be able to clamp for approaching and things over there in the machine shop for location. Now we're taking this off to the tapered needle nose like it should be. Okay, here we're doing a slotting operation. You can see as forged here, so after he slots it off to take any scale holes that might be in or any other deformation. Okay, we're in a heat treat area right now. After the parts all come from the rough polishing area, tongue and groove line is put on our os tempering line to be hardened. These pliers will go through the furnace area into a salt quench, through a wash, and back out into a tub on the other end. These are the parts coming out after they've been hardened and quenched. Next operation they'll be going to get the teeth hardened, induction hardened on the teeth area to a Rockwell 5561 Rockwell C. We'll be going now to the induction hardening area where we can see them hardening our cutting edges on our small plier. Okay, we're here now at the induction hardening area where we're hardening the cutting edges. The cutting edges will be hardened so that they're only a 16th depth. What we do is heat up the cutting edge area, and we oil quench it so it meets the specifications for wire testing. Okay, now we're here at the two-way station. We're hardening the teeth on our tongue and groove plier. As you can see here, you'll be able to see the teeth heat up, and the quench oil will come on and quench the hardness of the teeth to meet specifications. These pliers will then go through a tempering operation to make the teeth more ductile and won't be as brittle. This is where we do our box joint line or lap joint line, the hardening of the body of the parts. They are put into the hardening furnace here, our mar tempering operation. Once the pliers come out of that there, they'll go into a wash, and then they'll come over and into a draw to be tempered also, to meet the ANSI specifications. in a filing department where we hand file the cutting edges on the pliers. We start out with a plier from the machining area that we just have the stock there. We are now filing the bevels on to make our cutting edges to meet specifications for cutting. Our filing cutting edges are done on all of our diagonals, end nippers, needle nose, Lyman pliers, and so forth. These are the end nippers that we file the cutting edges on. These parts are filed here in the hardened stage, and then they are sent back over to heat treat where we just came from, where the induction hardened the cutting edge. Thanks, Tom. We're now in the stockroom 1 department, our assembly area, where we do our wire test operation, checking the hardness of our cutting edges to meet the ANSI specifications. This machine is 100% wire test to check the hardness of the plier and the cutting edge. Here we are adjusting the joints to meet specifications for tension. He is either loosen the part up or tighten the part up to meet the gauging specs. We're now down in the finished rope cut area to test the pliers, cutting edges on 100% for rope cut to make sure that we have quality plier going to the customer. At this point, after the parts are okayed by the inspector, they will go over to plant 2 to start the finished polishing and through into the packaging. We're now in the finished polishing area of plant 2. At this operation, when the parts come over from there, they go on a straight line. This is it comes over from plant 1 non-polished. This is after it goes across the straight line, polished on the flat. We will now go down to the operations we're doing the heads on around the top. finish touch on the head now. We got to get the complete full polish on this. We do this all by hand now. Everything on here now gets done by hand. Okay, we're doing the needle nose now. He starts out doing the neck area down on the handles. Then he polishes the flat area here on both sides. Then he goes and does his finish touch on the noses. As you can see the way this operator is doing it. Here we're doing one of our smaller pliers. He's finished necking them with a 120 grease belt. Okay, this is our primer line after the pliers have been assembled. They come in here for inspection for moving in the top and bottom slots, channels, and then they're hung on the line to go through a hot oil into a degrease and then a primer that rust prevents our pliers for going out to the customer. Once we have the pliers through the primer line, they then come over here to be stamped with what logo needs to be put on a certain plier, which this is a 442. It's a Channellock made in USA. Then they will go to the gripping oven to have the grips put on before we do all of our stamping. Okay, now these parts now, after they've been stamped, they'll come over here in the gripping room. They will be loaded up on these racks here as the operator is doing right now. They will then go through the oven to the other end down here where another operator takes them off, puts them in the gripping area to be gripped, the plastisol, bring them back up, and they'll come back over here for this other operator to take them back off again. Okay, now these racks of pliers are sitting here for cool down, waiting for an inspector to come down to get them to go up to their station. do the inspection on the plier for functional, cosmetics, whatever it may be inspected on. And then they're packaged into the clamshells, which the clamshells will go on up the conveyor to the sonic machine to seal the packages. We have an average of about 120,000 pair of pliers going out here a week to meet customers' orders. These are the USA kits. There's many different varieties of them. They will be packaged in a skin pack, what we call skin pack, and be shipped out according to what customer demand is. This concludes our tour of Channellock. Appreciate you going along with us. If you're ever in the area of Meadville, PA, and the northwestern part of Pennsylvania, stop in and see the Channellock Corporation world-class hand tools.